It's golf time on Prime Sports Network, and we are a week away from a full, in-depth Masters preview. Before we do that, we're gonna tease you. Is that the right way of describing what we're gonna have for
I'm
the
gonna go.
viewers today? A little bit of a
I'm gonna.
tease.
I'm gonna go with wet your whistle.
Ooh, wetting the whistle. All right. So with that, I guess really what we're trying to come up with is a proper way of letting you know that we're going to have some Masters data for you. A little bit of Masters data, but important because look, they don't have the futures up for like 6 months, a year. Hey, the Masters is over. Let's put up the Masters odds for 2020. They'll do it like the next week. They don't have it up there for no reason. They do it because people will wager on it. And a lot of the times, Jared, I know, like, what is the reason specifically that you wager on futures golf a week or two or a month, several months before an event?
Yeah, for me, it's really if I just see a stale number that I think is wrong. I mean, and I've said this before. A lot of the time, they put futures odds up. People that are going to bet futures are going to bet regardless of the number. They're not super interested in like value and all that. So a lot of the time, I think these future numbers aren't great. From time to time, though, you can find an exception. And I know this doesn't help our listeners, but I got Jason Day to win the Masters like a month ago at 65-1. He's now down to, what is he, 22-1.
Wow.
Now, I would
Awesome.
not bet Jason Day at 22-1.
Well, there you go.
But, I was able to, because I was, bored one night just scrolling through Masters odds, saw Jason Day at 65 and know he's been playing well all year, has good course history.
Hey, he might even be our pick to win the Masters.
Yeah, well, I got some trends that I can get to in a second here, but
absolutely,
he's shaping up. He's shaping up nicely.
Yeah. Anything else?
No. I mean,
that's the main reason. Yeah, because I mean, I know you don't do it, but I am the type that, especially because I have Bovada, and Bovada's been very easy about this. They'll let you parlay almost anything, and so what I'll do is like this week. I might say, let's say you got the basketball for the Final Four. So let's say I like UConn to win the national championship. Right now they're minus 135 to win the national championship. Heavy favorite. So let's say what I'll do is I'll say, well, maybe I'll put UConn with somebody from the Masters to win the Masters. So if UConn wins, I get a little bit of extra juice. Now, that's not a perfect thing because we're talking minus 135. But if you've got like a 5-1 shot somewhere, and something like maybe it could be NASCAR, it could be something like that. Or let's say the golf event this week. Let's say you like somebody. Let's say you like one of the favorites, Tyrrell Hatton. Mm-hmm. But you don't want to put a lot of money on Hatton this week, and he's 12-1. Well, put Hatton with the guy that you like next week. Maybe you like Scheffler. Maybe you like Rahm. Maybe you like McIlroy. And they're also a low pick. Put them together. And that'll make, you could put $5 on that, and that's several $100s as far as a parlay is concerned. So that's the main reason I do it. Yeah, but I like your way too. Yeah. Your way makes sense too.
Yeah, I struggle enough hitting one golf winner, so trying to parlay them together. I don't know.
That is kind of hard. Okay, so let's stick on the Masters topic and talk about as you said, the day odds are now behind us. Yep. So taking a look at the Masters board, what do you see right now that intrigues you, that you think could change?
Yeah, so I mean, the odd boards right now has Scheffler, Rory, and Jon Rahm all at 7-1, like clearly above everyone else. Then the next guy is at 18-1. That's
big.
So
and that's not going to stay the same.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. If you want to bet one of those big three, I think wait, because I think you'll be able to find them at 9 or 10 or maybe even 12-1 if you get lucky next week.
Yes.
The guys I'm eyeing right now, and again, I'm not making these bets because I don't think these numbers are going to get worse. I think they might stay the same. They might get better. But Patrick Cantlay and Colin Morikawa are both 22-1. Those two guys are on my short list. And listen, if they're 22-1 next week, I'll bet them at that number. But again, I'm just going to wait because I think there's a chance that, I get one of them at 25-1 next week.
Yeah, I think you probably, yeah, I'm actually a little, tell you the truth, I think if I had to pick the one of them, I might pick Cantlay. But we've been saying this for months. All you have to do is when you take a look at the board here, there are just so many players, big names, sexier names than Cantlay, and maybe even Morikawa that have played well here that could bump those odds for both of those players to a much more inviting number. Like, for instance, and I'm not going to go over everything because we're going to talk about it next week, but players that have been playing well at the Masters coming in. Obviously, Scheffler defending champ. Rory second last year. Rahm has 4 top 10s in his last 5. We know about Spieth at the Masters. Schauffele with 2 top 5s in his last 4. Cameron Smith with 3 straight top 10s, 2 top 5s, and a runner-up in his last 3. Justin Thomas has never missed a cut. He was 8th last year. You mentioned Morikawa, 5th last year. Zalatoris, if you're not so concerned with his injury, 6th last year, 2nd before that. You mentioned Jason Day. He's got a great record. So, look, there's several others I can go. So there's players out there that are definitely going to make it a little easier. And I agree. I think if I'm you or if I'm anybody interested in Patrick Cantlay or Colin Morikawa, especially I think Cantlay because he doesn't have the major appeal yet that Morikawa has. I think Cantlay could at least be 25-1.
I think so too. Now, the big question I wanted to ask you your thoughts on this: what do we do with the live guys? You know, I mean, some of the odds are kind of. I mean, you know, Joaquin Niemann 50-1, kind of enticing to me. Patrick Reed 65-1, obviously, you know, has the win here. I don't know what to do with those guys. They haven't played much. When they have played, I'm not sure, you know, how much they've really been into it.
You know,
so they're the tough ones to figure out for me.
I think that, and unfortunately, the guy that makes the most sense has the lowest odds, and that's Cam.
Yeah, DJ.
No, Cam
Cam.
Smith.
Yeah.
Right. Who'd you say?
Yep. Dustin Johnson.
Oh yeah. DJ is just. First of all, he's already got a Masters, and I just don't think that he's worth, because he's in that group of like 20 players between 18 and 30-1. You know. But I think Cameron Smith, it would be the only guy that I'd look. The odds are low, but the guy is just tailor-made for this golf course.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's ever coming back to the PGA Tour again. So yeah, I think he would be the guy. I don't know if I'd go. I don't know what other long shots. I don't know if Reed, since he's already got a green jacket, would be appealing to me. Who else was the long shot you talked about?
I mean, Taylor Gooch is 80. Sergio Garcia is 80.
Yeah, Gooch was 14th last year, but he's only made one appearance though.
Right. The other guy I mentioned was Joaquin Niemann at 50-1.
Yes. Yeah. What about Niemann? 50-1.
He's interesting. Yeah. I'm looking at Cam Smith's Masters history though. I mean, 20-1 seems not bad for him. I mean, 3rd last year, 10th the year before that, 2nd the year before that, 5th on his 2nd appearance here in 2018. I mean, that's as good of a 5-year run as you're going to see. So
absolutely.
20-1 ain't bad on Cam Smith. I'm not sure what Niemann has done here. He's never been in the mix. I know that. I can pull it up.
No, 35th last year was his best result. Yeah, so because of that, and to tell you the truth too, is I tell you what, maybe the one guy also I'd look at is the guy that was in contention a few weeks ago was Leishman, because he's like 80-1. He has a couple of top 5s at the Masters, and he was playing pretty well. You know who I'd like to see here is isn't Charles Howell? Isn't he an Augusta native?
He is.
Isn't it too bad? I mean, because he's like playing the best golf. Doesn't he have 2 Live Tour wins?
At least one, I know.
I could have sworn he
might.
I don't know. I don't pay full attention to it, but I think.
Oh, the other Live guy, and it's another guy. I don't think he has a great history here, but Abraham Answer is 80-1.
Yeah, he has 2 top 30s, 1 top 15.
Yeah,
Casey would be interesting to me because he's 80-1.
Yep.
50%. Actually, it's more than 50% of his results are top 20s. and he has 5 top 10s and 1 top 5. And about 7-8 years ago, I always thought Paul Casey was going to win a green jacket.
Yeah.
So
yeah, again, the odds are enticing on all these guys, but when it comes down to it, I don't think I'm going to bet any of them.
the live guys.
Yeah, the live guys. There's just too much unknown for me with what they've been doing for the past year.
Yeah, because to tell you the truth, Cam Smith, it's not like he's playing well.
Right.
I guess this is what happens when you get big paycheck.
Exactly.
Who needs to go out there and mentally? But that's the thing, though, is like you were saying, we don't know. I mean, Cam Smith since January, and guys like that have all they've been focusing on is the Masters. Hey, I don't care what the hell happens when I'm doing. I'm playing these 2 or 3 Live Tour events before the Masters like I'm playing Augusta. And I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that to get my game ready. So we don't know. I mean, I would guess that would be the case.
Should be.
Yeah.
All right. Can I reveal my my trends thing I've been working on here?
Okay. So you've got this.
I'm pretty excited about that. I'm pretty excited. Yeah. So I, the conventional wisdom has always been, Masters winners for the most part, 1, are in good form coming in, and 2, have had experience and done well at Augusta before, right? That's kind of what we always hear. So I actually looked into the numbers. 8 of the last 11 Masters winners checked all 3 of these boxes. They had at least 1 previous top 20 at Augusta. They were averaging 1.9 or better strokes gained total in the 3 months leading up to their win at Augusta, and they were averaging 1.4 plus strokes tee to green in the 3 months leading up. So again, just they had experience and have had a top 20 at Augusta, and they're just playing well in the 3 months leading up to the win. So I looked at those 3 boxes to see which guys currently qualified, which guys currently hit all 3. There are only 5 guys right now that hit all 3 of those boxes.
All right.
Scotty Scheffler, obviously.
Scheffler.
John Rahm. John Rahm, not a surprise. Number 3, Colin Morikawa. Number 4, Jason Day.
Our boy. Okay.
And number 5, Tyrrell Hatton.
Uh-oh.
Kind of a surprise.
Tyrrell Hatton.
So only 5 guys check all 3 of those boxes.
Hatton.
Again, 8 of the last 11 winners have checked all 3 of those boxes coming in.
Interesting. Okay. Very good. Again, it's not 100%, but it's very, those are the trends that we talk about on a weekly basis that you have to look at. And I think every name except Hatton, because Hatton doesn't have much experience in a positive light here at Augusta.
That's the thing. He has a bad course history, but he has the 1 top 20.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
and let's remember this. See, I think what happens too, here's another tip. What happens is you get so caught up in the pageantry of the Masters that when you're making predictions, and I'm not just talking about the favorites, I'm talking about, okay, well, who might be a good sleeper? Who might be a good dark horse? Because dark horses do win the Masters. Sleepers win. I think what happens is a lot of times we just discount certain players because they're just not a sexy pick. They're not like, oh, man, this guy's going to win a Masters, that kind of thing. When Willett won, unfortunately, we thought he won prematurely, that he was going to be a player to watch. He won it before anybody thought he was ready for it. Then he had the injuries and so forth. But then you have even Bubba. I mean, for Bubba to win twice, when really he's just your average good player on tour who happens to bomb it. And by the way, the bombing thing too, you can throw that out the door as the be-all, end-all. Now, it's important, very important. But all you got to do is take a look at Bryson DeChambeau. He is terrible. And this was when he was playing great golf. Yeah. He's awful at Augusta. But yeah, just take a look at some of the winners. I mean, some of the winners that have owned green jackets are not always the sexy pick.
For sure, but going back to Bubba, and I have the numbers in front of me. You look at his run in the lead up to his wins at Augusta in 2012 and 2014. He was playing some of the best golf of his career. He was one of the top 5 golfers in the world, like in that 3-month lead up. Just if you look at the strokes gain numbers. So you're right. They're not always the sexy big names, but for the most part, And by the way, the two like outliers that weren't playing super well heading into their Masters wins were Patrick Reed in 2018 and Hideki Matsuyama in 2021. Those guys did not hit the thresholds that I talked about. Willett, by the way, he was I said 8 out of the last 11. So the three outliers were Patrick Reed, Hideki, and the third was Willett. Willett didn't hit that because he didn't have a prior top 20 at Augusta, but he did hit those strokes gain thresholds. He had been playing really well heading into his Masters win.
It was only, I believe, his second appearance.
That sounds right.
So that'll do it.
Yep.
And here's another one. The last player, and this helps for this week. The last player to win this event, if you like a Tyrrell Hatton or a Ricky Fowler or a Siwoo Kim, guys like that. The last player to win this event, the Masters, after missing a cut the event prior, and again, it's the event prior, not the week prior, the event prior, was Angel Cabrera in 2009. Now, Cabrera ended up being the lowest ranked winner at Augusta at 69th. So the limited field, too, is really what does it, which is a good thing. I like the limited field because you don't get the really, really crazy long shots that like, oh, does that guy really kind of deserve a green jacket kind of thing. So if you win the green jacket, chances are like 95% of the time, you're a pretty good player.
For sure.
You know? I mean, and by the way, Cabrera was one of those outliers though, because he was like, he won like 1 or 2 events on the PGA Tour, and he's got like what, 2 or 3 majors. I think he's got 2.
Yeah. So again, the 5 guys, Scheffler and Rahm, they're both 7-1. Yeah, I said Morikawa at 22. I'd have no issue betting him right now if you wanted to. Jason Day 22. That's getting short for me.
I think at this point you wait and maybe you get more for Jason Day.
I would think you could get a 30 next week.
Yeah.
Hatton right now is 35-1. We got to see about this hand thing. I know we talked about it because we both had him one and done at the match play, and it seemed like during warm-ups on Wednesday something happened with his hand or wrist. Now, he ended up playing all 3 matches at the match play. Lost all 3. Well. Didn't play well. And he's as of now, as of Monday night, still in the field at Valero. So if he ends up playing Valero and playing well enough, I mean, I think we can put the hand concerns behind. So like at that point, I would consider Hatton at 35-1. But I'm not betting him right now because I just want to see if he plays this week and if he plays well.
Well, you know what you do is you pretty much just I'd give him I give him Thursday once you see how he plays.
Sure.
Is he healthy? Is he playing? Did he not shoot a 76? You know, if he's hey, you know what? He's tied for top 25 after round 1 and he played the whole round, then go right to the Masters board. And if you like him, go ahead and take him.
But he's one to definitely watch closely this week because if he plays very well and if he comes like top 5, his odds might drop to 30.
That's true.
If he plays well enough and finishes, 28th, I think you could get him at 40 or 45 next week.
Let's see if I notice any other strange odds. Well, Zalatoris, I don't think there's any way he's going to stick at 20. I know he's got the history here.
Yeah.
Again, you have so many players between 18 and 30-1. It can't stay that way. Some of these guys are going to be moved back a little bit. A couple of them will move forward. But why would you bet on Zalatoris the way he's been playing? And it's just unfortunate right now. It looks like it's not working out for him.
Yeah, I'm kind of off him. I think, as I've been saying for a lot of this year so far, it's not the putting stuff. I know there were a couple ugly short putts that he missed at match play, but it's still, I think, the back injury, and as we talked about, he had to change his swing because of the back injury, and I just don't think he's there yet. So yeah, I'm off Zalatoris for now. Yeah, he'd have to be 40 or 50-1 for me to consider.
I don't think these odds are going to go down, but an interesting player that has started to play better over the last several years at the Masters at 50-1 is Shane Lowry. Lowry really didn't do much the first few years at Augusta, but all of a sudden in his last 3, all top 25s and 3rd last year, which is his best. But I think he'll stay right around 50. No word on Tiger yet?
No confirmation that he's playing. I'm still assuming he's gonna, but
if anybody thought him winning in whatever it was, 2019 was a miracle,
okay.
this
Yeah.
would be a miracle. So,
and we saw it last year with him, just how tough a walk this course is. By Sunday, he was having trouble just getting around.
what would be a good bet actually is whether we make the cut. He's made 23 of 24 cuts. That would be I wonder what the odds would be on that one.
I remember betting it last year because it was a big promotion, Tiger King.
Oh, was
but
it?
I think it was even money. I think they had it at plus 100 to make the cut.
Another long shot, but again, I don't think these odds are going down. I actually, like Casey, maybe same time frame, about 5-6 years ago, I really felt Justin Rose was going to win a green jacket.
Yeah.
And now he's got to win.
Yeah.
So, see, what I like to look at too are when players that may not have good years come, especially the veteran ones, they come back the next year early on and they start playing better than they did. And especially if they got a win, first thing I think about is I'm going to remember that for a major. And Justin might be a really good one.
I'm just looking at Rose now. He obviously checks the box of having a top 20 at the Masters. He does fall. He's pretty close to hitting those strokes gained numbers I mentioned, but he falls a bit short of them. So he hasn't been playing quite as well as these previous Masters winners have been.
Ricky, now his odds could definitely go. Now, I tell you what, he's not a bad idea if you like him, because at 65-1, if he plays well this week, and I really can't imagine that he won't the way he's playing.
But he has to. He's not in the Masters. He has to win this week to get in.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Even
and
better.
That's where you got to be careful with the futures odds, though, because if you bet Ricky now as a futures bet and he doesn't get in the field, you're still out that money.
That's who else? Anybody else have notable names other than Ricky that needs to win to get in?
Most guys in this field, honestly, I think there's like 8 guys in the Valero field that are in the Masters. Like everyone else is in a win or in situation. I don't know if there's any other like big names. I have to go back and look.
I would probably now put a little. What is Ricky? Like 14-1.
He's one of the. He's like 16 or 18-1. He's like the third favorite. He's playing well. He's playing very well.
He's playing well, and he's good at the Masters. So that's what I was going to say, because at 65-1, if he ends up would be so the problem is you get those trends about winning. I mean, playing the week before a Masters or a major, and who does that, and how many times has somebody won the week before a Masters or a major? But the really difficult part is winning before the major and then winning the major too. That's the difficult thing, because you put so much energy into winning a PGA Tour event, all of a sudden you got to go right back, and especially if you don't have the week off. But hey, if that's the only way Ricky can get in, he doesn't care.
Exactly. So if you want to bet the Ricky 65 to win the Masters, you 100% need to parlay that with
there you go.
To win Valero.
Absolutely.
That hits your rich.
So. Yeah. And make sure, of course, that you put straight money on winning the Valero, though. So that's a good one. Let's see. What else? Anybody else as far as a long shot? Let's see.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't usually go too far down the board at the Masters. I do like the Lowry call.
By the way, is Webb playing the Masters?
Let me see. Yep, looks like he's qualified.
Okay, because what is he?
Odds wise,
yeah, it's got to be over 100, I would think.
Yeah, he definitely is over 100.
Let's see. Got him.
I don't see him listed on DraftKings, but in the field list I have here, he's in it.
Okay, because look, I know he hasn't played well at all for a year or so, but 24th at Bay Hill, missed the cut at Players. Anybody can do that. We saw what he did at Valspar, tough golf course, And if you look at Masters, the last 5 have been like his best 5. 35th last year, but before that, 12th, 10th, 5th, and 20th. So again, we're talking long shots. He's got the major pedigree, so he would be somebody. But his odds are not going to change. So it's something we could talk about next week. But
Yep.
All right. So yeah, and I don't think there's any other major trends. But the thing is like we said, if you, I mean, I'll ask you this because this is important before we move on to the Texas event. We just talked about anybody that wants to use this as a parlay and try to match it.
Mm-hmm.
Give me just some early feelings on who are some players that you like, that you're thinking about before you really do your 100% data, and you have to have a about 10 guys like in your mind that are like, yeah, these are the guys that I'm thinking about.
Oh yeah, I mean, so if you're talking about parlaying and you want one of the shorter guys, for me it's Scotty Scheffler. Like,
I agree. Out of the top
it's
3,
the way, like,
yeah.
I hate to say, but it's like it's tough to see him not being in the mix on Sunday,
Yeah.
and then at that point, if he closes or not, but I mean, he's just playing so well. And again,
by the way, I wonder what happened to him. Did he get? Did somebody stick a mic in his face after the that short putt he missed?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
No,
I would have liked to have had. I mean, it's like it wasn't that difficult, and he was taking forever. And it's like you knew once you started taking forever, it was like, what's going on here? He's not. I mean, he can't be choking. He doesn't. I mean, this is not that important.
Right. Yeah.
So that was.
But I mean, I think Scheffler deserves to be the standalone favorite, and I think he will end up that way when they re-release these odds on Monday. But then I mean, otherwise for me, it's Cantlay, it's Morikawa, it's Tyrrell Hatton, and again, I like your Shane Lowry call. That honestly, I think that's about as far down the board as I would go at this point, and maybe things will change a week from now. But I think Shane Lowry at 50-1 is as deep as I would go.
Yeah, I can't take Jordan seriously when he's the 4th choice.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that's going to hold?
It might. I don't know. I don't know who would pass him.
I think Cam Smith should pass him.
I think Cam Smith should pass him. I don't know if he will. I mean, people love betting Jordan Spieth.
Yeah.
I know the guy. I know the guy's won, but I have some. I mean, he's won and his game seems to be back.
Yeah.
But I have some closing concerns with him. What happened at Valspar, with that shanked drive into the water on 16 or whatever it was.
He really. It looked like he was, after the first day, it looked like he was going to cruise in match play. And he was, and then the next day, I look up and he's 5. Who was he lose to? Was it Hughes?
Montgomery, wasn't it?
Was it? All of a sudden I look up and I'm like, wait a second. Yeah. How the hell is he down 4 or 5 strokes to this guy?
So, yes, I mean, I think Spieth's alive, but I would not bet him at 18-1.
Yeah. Yeah, because he did choke once before. And I can imagine if that happened, if that scenario came up, I'm not sure I'd be feeling pretty good.
I would like to see Spieth in the mix on Sunday.
Yeah, it would be great. Absolutely. Surprised that he's not playing this week?
A little, but again, I think I had said last week just this kind of run up. A lot of these guys haven't had a week off, or maybe they've had 1 week off in the past 4 or 5. So I think it obviously makes sense for most of them to be skipping this.
And then, guys, I'm starting to look at. I agree with you with Scheffler, Cam Smith. I'm going to think hard about, but I probably Day, of course, we've already talked about. I'd probably say, and I've already mentioned Lowry. I mentioned most of them. Lowry, Rose, as far as some long shots. And remember this too, when Sergio Garcia won in 2017, people might think, oh yeah, Sergio was a really good player, and he's come close to winning majors before. It was the most unlikely win of a major from a good player at a specific venue. Sergio, over his career, had been terrible at Augusta and had even admittedly said he'd never win there. And he goes out and he won that year. Like, I just kept thinking, eventually he's going to have a bad round. Like, by the time he got through, once it got to the weekend, it was like, no, something's going to happen. It's just can't continue. And so that's what I had so really special about Augusta, is that even every once in a while, strange things can happen.
But I mean, I'll say again, he checked all three of those boxes that I have here. He had a prior top 20, and he was
one of the 8 out of the 11.
Yeah, yep. He checked all three of those boxes. He had a top 20, and he was playing very well coming in.
Okay, so we're gonna dig deeper into our Masters coverage next week. So please check that out. It'll be on Monday night. That's when we're normally putting these out. So. But that's next week. Let's talk Valero Texas Open. And we're going to start with one and dones. Wow. I haven't even had time to think about that. One and dones, because this would be better than Honda.
I'll pull it up, maybe a tad, but not much. I mean, this is one of the quote unquote regular events. It's it's not elevated. Let me see. So this pays $8.9 million. Honda was 8.4, Valspar was 8.1. So it's a little bit above those, but I mean, it's one of the lower tier ones. So
yeah, and just thinking about the field, the only reason why I think it might be a little bit better than Honda is just because there's Hatton and Fowler. I don't even remember. Who was the favorite at the Honda? M. It
was M, and then
Lowry.
A bit of a drop. Lowry, yep.
was up there, yeah.
Chris Kirk was up there, yep.
Okay, so let me see what kind of trends we got here. Not many. 6 of the last 7 winners were Americans. This is not what we want to see. 9 of the 12 winners, keeping in mind they have only been playing at TPC San Antonio since, I think, 2010. So 9 of the 12 winners ranked outside the top 50, 7 winners ranked outside the top 100, including 196, 232, 242, 285, and 336. That is going to make our job very difficult. 6 of the 12 winners made this event their first ever PGA victory. And of course, no one has won here more than once. And there's never been a playoff ever at the Valero Texas Open at TPC San Antonio.
I mean, this is definitely a week you can consider long shots. 3 of the last 4 winners here were 200 to 1.
Oh,
and then dating back a bit more than that, 5 of the last 9 were 100 to 1 or higher. So don't be afraid to throw some bombs out there.
Yeah. So let me get this master stuff out of the way. So for one and dones, man, because you're looking and you're saying, well, we just mentioned the players as far as Fowler and Hatton. So when you look else, I mean, you tell me. I mean,
yeah, I'm not going to use
Siwoo Kim.
I'm not going to use Hatton. It's for a couple of reasons. One is the hand wrists thing.
Oh yeah, you can't do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine you did that for a second straight week.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And I mean, to me, he's too good to use in a field with this purse size. I'm probably going to want to use him at something with a bigger purse. Fowler, I'm not really considering. I think he's going to be one of the more popular picks this week. I like Davis Riley, and I'll talk about him in a bit because he's one of my bets this week. I'm definitely considering Siwoo Kim, and I'm definitely considering Corey Connors, who has an excellent track record here.
Wow. I was hoping on Sunday, I think it was on Sunday, I was looking at the leaderboard every once in a while because I record I get the instant recording of all the PJ events. So they had whatever that thing was last week. And I noticed that Wallace was in it with Clark. And I was like, oh man, come on, Wallace, don't win this. Because I wanted to take him this week. Because I figured he was really good the week before. Yeah. If he's in contention there and doesn't win, But now you'd have to come on. I mean, for the guy to win 2 straight, it's just not going to happen. So I was really bummed out that he won because I thought he would have been a great pick this week. Look, the guy. By the way, the guy has talent, and I don't know what happened to him. Like about 4 years ago, was it maybe that that was when things started to. Hey, you know, this guy is also kind of quirky on the golf course. He had a really good personality. Something happened. Not sure what it was, but he's also just very inconsistent on the European tour. So I'm glad he's got a win, and maybe we'll see him a lot more here.
He's still 40-1 this week, which I'm kind of surprised by.
Yeah, that's not a bad. Yeah, it's
in this field,
stranger things have happened.
Yep.
So it's not a totally bad idea. But as far as one and dones, I hear what you're saying about everybody probably taking Ricky, but I don't know. I mean, because he has to win to get to the Masters, it's one of those things where, like Hatton and Ricky and a few of them, like Matsuyama and these guys, they're going to the Masters.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they know it's next week. So, I can't imagine they really care 100% the result.
That's a tough part, yeah.
But
same goes with Siwoo. He's already in the Masters too. So you wonder about motivation a bit with those guys.
But Ricky has to win. So out of all those guys, like out of the top 5 guys, Ricky's the one that has to win. And so he's and the other thing too is you said like, would we take Ricky again though? I don't know. I mean, it's possible. If he has a really good year, we could take him.
Right.
But would we take Ricky in a major? I mean,
nope. I wouldn't.
Probably not. Masters is the best I think Ricky's played in majors, I believe.
You're probably right. Yeah. So I mean, the other guys near the top of the board. You asked me which other guys need to win to get in. Matt Kuchar needs to win to get into Augusta.
Really?
Taylor Montgomery needs to win to get in. Obviously, Davis Riley needs to win to get in. So those are the guys near the top of the board that definitely have motivation this week.
Kuchar has to win.
Yep.
I like that idea. So Kuchar is what, 30-1?
30-1. He's been playing well lately. He advanced out of his group at the match play last week.
Yeah, but remember when we went over that, it was it was miscut heading into but it was like, hey, don't worry about that because this guy is just he's one of those machines in their one and done.
Kisner lost though. Kisner got smoked.
Yeah, he did. It was good to see him get out of there. Even though Max Homa wasn't able to do much with that. And Homa, if you're thinking of taking Homa for a major this year, you're not going to take them at the Masters. So he just hasn't looked good there.
Yeah. Not to go back to the Masters, but Homa checks 2 of those 3 boxes I had talked about. He has both of the strokes gained thresholds, Matt, but he doesn't have the top 20 at Augusta yet.
Yeah, Cameron Young, by the way, that was a good pick. You had him as second pick last week? Yeah. And
the nice thing about getting a second place in golf betting always sucks. The nice thing about it happening at match plays, it's so easy to hedge in match play. So you could at least have hedged out of that and still made some money on the week.
Yeah, that's perfect. And that was kind of funny too because it's when it was shaping up, you were like, come on. I mean, is this really going to happen? We're going to get Scheffler and McIlroy on in the final. This can't happen, right? And you did, yeah. And that's that's the thing too is I haven't really looked at the numbers as far as what kind of traffic that they got, but I wonder. I mean, they did play each other, and it was at the same time, so I wonder whether or not the luster gets taken out of it, or hey, no, they're playing each other. So that's interesting. I haven't, and it's only Monday night too. So maybe we'll find it out when we have some time. So yeah. Oh, and here's another thing because NBC kind of didn't they just start their coverage? I don't think I've seen NBC yet with golf this year.
I think they've had it for the past few weeks.
Have they? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. They usually just start the Florida swing.
I think Florida. Yep.
So that and there's no more match play for now. I get what they're doing, but as far as a viewer, to NASCAR, you suck. Whoever was producing that golf event,
Match play is tough.
how you don't show the constant like leaderboard for the entire day on Sunday is awful. And that what they were doing was they were like, we got to keep the viewers in. So when they switch the channel and they're putting them on, we gotta keep them there. But that sucks because every time I'm checking it out. I got other things I'm doing, and I'm watching, and I'm working, and I'm watching other stuff. And every time I'm flipping over there, I gotta wait like a couple of minutes before they pop up on the thing who's winning.
Yeah.
And then also, you don't even know what's going on with the other event. So it's like, come on, man, just can you put it somewhere where we can follow both events at the same time, and we don't have to sit there and wait for you guys to put the score on there. It was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's just
I mean,
uncalled for.
Match play is it's tough, and it's
it could be boring
once a year. So there's just not as much golf going on out there. But
all right, so as far as one and dones, I'd have to say right now I would be leaning towards Ricky myself because I have Hatton out, but like you said, I probably wouldn't. The only way that I would think of taking Hatton this week would have been if he actually came out somewhere and said that was nothing, didn't have an impact, I'm 100%. Then maybe I would be like, you know what, maybe I'll take him this week. So
well, it's interesting too because you have Hatton with the injury, and then Hideki withdrew last week as well with a neck, and he'd been dealing with a neck. Now Hideki was already eliminated at that point. He was 0-2, so he just said, "I'm not playing this third match. That was meaningless." Maybe he just said that. Maybe or maybe it's real. So he because Hideki, like, no one's going to pick him this week for one and done. So like, that's the argument for Hideki. You're going to get him at super low ownership, and he's if he's healthy, he's at least the second best player in this field.
Ironically, he withdrew from this event last year.
That's the risk with Hideki.
But look, that's the other thing is that if maybe you shoot a 75 on Thursday and you go into the Masters, you might just say, it's enough. I'm getting out of here.
Yep.
Because that'll be something too. I haven't looked it out yet, but I'm going to see what you only got to getting up 12 years of where winners come from. And in the description area of this video, I use golfstats.com, helps me out tremendously with all of this data that I use for trends and past performances and so forth. Because what you don't want to do when you're preparing handicapping golf events is go, all right, I'm going to go check out the 2022 leaderboard. And then you're going to write down results. And, all right, now I got to check the 2021 leaderboard. And you don't want to do that. So make sure you go somewhere where all the data is, and then a whole bunch of other really cool stuff. So we've talked about this before. And with a limited amount of events, let's see if it's under Valero Texas Open. All right, so where winners come from at the Valero Texas Open since 2000. Let's see. If you get off to a start here, it looks like most of the guys that have won since 2011, only 3 of them started outside the top 20. So most of them had a good start. And the one since 2011 that was the furthest back was 20th. So I'm seeing a lot of 3 and 4 strokes back at the most after the first round. Interesting. Round 2, obviously much of the same thing. Matter of fact, if you go back to 2011, winners that start off in the top 5 after the second round, everyone in the top 5 in that since 2011 except one player, and that was Martin Laird, was 15th, 5 shots back. And then after the third round, since we're only dealing since 2010, every player that's won this event has never been outside the top 7 going into the final round. And the farthest back somebody's won heading into the final round was 5 shots back, 7th place, Martin Laird, same guy.
It's
Four
actually
of the last 5 entered the final round with the lead.
okay. It's not a course where you're going to go out and shoot 62. It's actually a pretty tough golf course. This is one of the 10 longest courses on tour. It's 7,400 yards.
Really?
Yeah, the fairway hit percentage and green and regulation percentage are both below tour average, so it's tougher fairways, tougher greens to hit. It's actually a pretty tough golf course. It usually comes down to the wind, though. If it gets windy, it plays super tough. If it's calm, the guys can put up decent scores.
All right. So, let's take a look now at your trends. We're not going to pop them up on the screen, by the way. So let's see. What do we got here? Where am I? Oh, there you are. Okay. So we got 2. One is the usual, the top 10 in course history the last 5 years. And as far as the names on this list that are the most intriguing would be Corey Connors, who's 3rd, Kuchar's 8th, and Chris Kirk's 9th. But Hoffman's 4th, but he's really not playing well. And I don't even know if some of these guys are playing this week.
They should be. They were on my list.
Kevin Streelman's playing this week?
Streelman's playing. I know he
Lucas
is for
Glover.
Sure.
So
Glover's
these are a lot
second.
of guys that are just not playing real well. So
that's the thing. I think Connors and Kuchar are 2 guys that are playing.
Connors, Kuchar, Kirk.
Yeah, and Kirk for sure. Another. It's another good spot. That's another guy to consider for one and done if you haven't used him yet. Chris Kirk, playing well still and has a good course history here.
You hit Kirk at the Honda.
I did. Yep.
Yeah, the big thing with whether you take Siwoo Kim or Kirk, do you think they're going to win twice? That's asking a lot, but it could be done. Still, it's hard. Chris Kirk going to the Masters, right? Yeah, because he won.
Yes, he's qualified.
Okay.
He's qualified. Yep.
All right. So the other major stat that you have is top 10 strokes gained ball striking over the last 3 months, and at the top of the list is the favorite this week, Tyrrell Hatton.
Yeah. So there's honestly nothing unique about this course and what kind of points to winners. So I just kind of went with strokes gained ball striking, which is always a big part of what I look at. And ball striking is just 50% strokes gained off the tee, 50% strokes gained approach. So who's hitting their tee balls and their iron shots best. That tends to be most predictive.
Who the hell is Kevin Roy?
I know, right? Yes, interesting names
real?
here.
That's not a misprint.
Kevin Roy's a real guy.
I never heard of him before.
He's 13th in my model for the week.
Okay.
50th last week at Corrales. He was 29th at Honda. And
what is
the
he?
ball striking.
Minor league. What's that tour called?
He's a Corn Ferry guy.
Okay.
Yes, he is a Corn Ferry guy. He was playing on Corn Ferry last year, at least.
If they want to market that league better, man, they got to find another sponsor.
Yeah,
that is an awful name. Yeah. What did it used to be? They used to have a good name, didn't they?
Yeah, God, what would it used to be called? Wasn't it Nationwide for a while?
Yeah, it might have been. It was one of those names. Yep. Yeah, it's not good. All right. So, matter of fact, Ben Martin's on your list, right?
Ben Martin's on my list, and this is the reason why, because the ball striking's been great. Ricky
Tyler
Fowler.
Duncan's 10th. I was thinking of taking Duncan this week.
Yep.
Okay.
Ryan Palmer, 8th on the list, and he's a Texas guy, so he's someone I looked at briefly, but just doesn't really have the results recently. But the ball striking has been good, so the putter's always the issue with him.
You were saying about Fowler?
Yeah, 5th on the list. Just again, the ball striking's been good. And the putting's been good as well, and the results have kind of been there. We had a bunch of top 20s, a bunch of top 10s, so not be shocked if he won this week.
All right, let's pick as we go through the list. And I was this close from taking Siwoo Kim, to tell you the truth. I was thinking, yeah, you know what, he's got a good history here. But look, we went over some of the trends, and there weren't many. But one I did notice is you really don't have to have any sort of history here. So, Sure, is it nice to know that somebody's played well here before? Of course it is. But don't worry about not taking somebody because they've got a couple of missed cuts or out of 3 or, maybe the best finish was 45th. Doesn't matter.
For sure.
So your top guy Well, you went from Davis Riley at 28-1.
Yep.
So that was your first pick, and you mentioned him before. So Riley,
Yeah.
63rd last year. So like we said, who cares? By the way, he also had a really choke punt. I mean, he should have beat Scheffler actually that match.
He should have.
Boy,
I know.
a few guys should have beat Scheffler.
Scheffler's just running hot, man. He's just running hot.
I mean, even when he wasn't playing well, guys that just
Yeah.
beat him. Go ahead, and he could.
All right.
He was behind like 3 matches, right? Like by 3 strokes in like all 3.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
it
he
didn't
was.
matter. Guys couldn't close him. But yeah, Riley, I
Burns.
remember he missed this really short, easy putt
Yeah.
on like 16 or something like that. Anyway,
Burns closed him out though. Burns knows how to close.
and I wonder if that's the kind of, it's let's see how he plays at the Masters now, Burns, because he's been stinking it up in majors, and I mean he was a little bit better last year, but I want to see now if that really gets him going in the majors, because that'd be nice. Okay, so Riley.
Yeah, so you mentioned the 63rd in his debut at this tournament last year. He lost 6 strokes putting in that tournament. He was actually 28th in the field tee to green, so it was really just a putting issue. But Davis Riley won a Korn Ferry Tour event on this course in 2020. So he has the good vibes on this course. He's playing pretty well. He's 20th in ball striking over the last 3 months. He's actually 13th in ball striking over the last month. He's gained off the tee in 4 straight, gained on approach in 3 of the last 4. And his last 4 results, 29th, 8th, missed cut, and 19th. So playing well. A guy I think is, one of the more up-and-coming stars we have right now in golf. I think, he's going to win before long. And this seems like a good spot for him. Considering he already did win here on the Korn Ferry Tour. Yep.
You like him that much?
I do, yeah. I think he's super talented.
Okay, awesome. There you go. Davis Riley at 28-1 is your top pick. Yeah, actually, let me put all of our picks. There's our picks. You can get the gist out of it behind the Valero Texas Open logo. Okay, so let me take a look. Where's mine start? Oh, mine would be next. So, but it's not the first pick. My second pick is Ryan Fox.
Nice.
So I'm going to go with Fox at 40-1. You know what? Maybe back-to-back European Tour players win on the PGA Tour. So Fox, we talked about him last year on this show because he was really playing well over in on Europe. I mean, he was there was a nice little run that he was making where he was like red hot, sort of like the kind of red hot that we're seeing this year from Minwoo Lee, except Fox was winning. And and he can get hot. Like, again, this is over in Europe. He hasn't done it yet, but if you take a look at him recently, in his couple of PGA Tour visits, he has the 14th at Bay Hill and 27th at Players. So in full-fledged fields, that would make him like second here. So I think, I think it's a good time to take him. He's never played.
He won at least one. He won at least one match last week too at the match play. I'm not sure if he finished 2-1 or 1-2, but he won at least one. Yeah, like you said, he's in good form. And again, it's a weak field, so a good spot for him to pick up a PGA win.
Yeah, so like he in late last year, 46th event of the season. It was late runner-up. Week before, or event before, 4th. Couple events before, he won the Alfred Dunhill Links Championship. Also last year, runner-up at the Irish Open. 3rd at the BMW International Open. 2nd at the Dutch Open. 2nd at whatever the Soudal Open is. And he won another event in 2022. Again, I can't pronounce the name. So he was really, what was his ranking? At that time, before he won that event early last year, he won it ranked 211th in the world. And now he is 36th. And that's all from doing stuff over there primarily.
Mhm.
But again, I like the fact that he's got a couple of good showings here in the States. Okay, next up is I'm going to stay with my picks for a while because not for your next one's coming up, but my third choice, I'm sticking with the European Tour dudes as Nikolai Hojgaard.
Mm.
So another guy now, not as talented as Fox, or I shouldn't say that, not as proven as Fox, but these Hojgaard brothers, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing the guys' names right.
It's Højgaard.
Højgaard. Okay, thank you very much. The Højgaard brothers is Rasmus. He's 109th in the world, and Nikolai is 118th. So I have Nikolai. By the way, Nikolai is 118th. Matt Wallace is 117th. So Nikolai, if you take a look at Nikolai, runner-up last week to Matt Wallace. So he was also fifth a few weeks ago in Thailand. The only thing is really hasn't played much at all in the States, and Punta Cana is not the States, but it is the PGA Tour. So, and keep an eye on those kids, those brothers. They're talented, and all it takes is one of these wins to kind of get them going. So anyway, he is and I don't believe he's played here as well. He's 45-1. He's my third choice. And I have one more choice before your guy, and it's an oldie for us in these long shot categories. But you know what? I'm going to go back to Nick Taylor. Nick is starting to play a little bit better. He had that nice run where Nick, even Ben had a moment or two. Your boy from England. But Nick, the Canadian, is coming off a 10th at Valspar. Didn't do anything at match play, but I don't care about that. He was runner-up in Phoenix and 7th at the Sony Open. What did he? Why did he qualify for the Sony Open? Oh, the Sony Open. I'm thinking about the other one. Okay. So anyway, he's right there as my third choice, I believe, or my fourth choice. Yes, at 50-1, Nick Taylor. And Nick Taylor has played here. He's got 2 top 25s in 6 appearances. Now we go back on your list at 55-1. Aaron Rai, who I was thinking about as well. So Aaron Rai at 55-1. Really played well here last year.
Here's my European for my card.
He's your guy?
I got 2 of them in my card, but here's one of them. Aaron Rai is 3rd in my model for the week, so I'm kind of trusting that. I do think he's a good fit here. This is a course where you need to keep the ball in play. There's a lot of holes where it's just like dense. This is the course where, I don't know if you remember, Kevin Na made a 16 on a hole because he got stuck in the woods and was just like punching it around in the woods for like 10 shots. So point is, you got to be a pretty accurate driver, and Rai is one of the most accurate drivers, at least in this field, if not, in golf right now.
19th players.
19th players. He's playing well. 12th in ball striking over the last 3 months. So he just missed my top 10 there. He had lost strokes putting in 8 straight events prior to the Players, where he gained 0.1 stroke putting at the Players. So he got himself into the green. He's another guy where if he can just putt okay, I think the ball striking is going to be good enough. Rai was 29th in his debut at this tournament last year.
Yep. So he is somebody that has played well here, and maybe this is the perfect time for Aaron Rai. All right. Also at 55-1, I believe this is my 5th choice. And I'm going to go back to Andrew Putnam. I took him earlier in the year, and Putnam had a pretty good showing in match play. And he was also 34th at Bay Hill a couple of starts ago. So that combination, and he's played here. The other reason is he's played here 5 times, and he does have 1 top 10. He's made 4 out of 5 cuts with 1 top 10. So I'm going to go with Putnam as my 5th choice. Next up, I go again, and this is 60-1. This is my top pick. 60-1.
Wow.
You ready?
Yep.
You're going to like this one.
Hit me.
Shank.
Nice.
Shank, baby.
I thought he was done. I thought he was done
I know.
after
That's what I
he's back.
thought.
Wife didn't have the baby yet, I guess, so he's back for more golf.
I don't know.
Nice.
I just figured we got to check that out to see if they had the baby yet or not. So
Yeah, I didn't see him. I didn't see him as a withdrawal. He's still in the field, as far as I know.
yeah, make sure you check that out. But you do get your money back,
Yep.
just for these types of things. But anyway, yeah, Shank. Look, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I said I was extremely impressed, and how could you not be with how we
Yep.
played at Valspar? That is a very tough golf course, and this is somebody that we've talked about late last year in these types of events where the fields aren't all that strong. Hey, you know what? It's a nice little interesting long shot guy to keep an eye on. And by the way, he's played here 4 times and he has one top 10. So he does have some success on the golf course. And for me, it's the other reason to take him was I just felt that, look, either or, whether he's had the child or not, I think psychologically, I think
Mhm.
it's a good thing. You know how they say, like, sometimes when you get injured a little bit, you can use that injury like it's a pain kind of thing, and the pain takes your mind off
Mhm.
of a lot of things that could distract you when you're playing a specific sport, especially golf. So maybe this is something too
What's
that
called? Yeah,
well,
it's called baby swag.
baby swag.
Baby
Okay,
swag. When
I'll
you
go
have the
with that.
kid, yeah, there's definitely some type of boost there.
Okay. So anyway, he's my top choice at 60 to 1. Okay. Next up, we're gonna now hit. Did we hit one of your picks yet? Your next pick is at 75 to 1,
Yep.
and we will be picking now. We will be taking a look at your pick now at 75 to 1, and that is Ben Martin. And I was actually thinking because I've seen his name on the leaderboard a lot more in the last 6 months than previous, but
Mhm.
I've never really done a full dive. I looked at it, but I know you usually find a lot more than I do.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. This is my first time betting Ben Martin, I can say. But yeah, the ball striking's been awesome. Again, third in this field in ball striking over the last 3 months, and the results have followed. Ben Martin's made 5 straight cuts. That includes a 13th at Pebble Beach, a 5th at Honda, and he came 8th last week at Corrales. So the guy is playing as well as he has in a long time. And I think a win is possible here, and especially in a field like this.
Okay. By the way, before we move on, this is the perfect time to let our viewers know questions, comments. Let us know. Let's get the board going. I've got boards going on for NASCAR and horse racing. I want to get this board going on. Let's pick up the pace here as far as communication. I think that'd be great. Let me know. I won't look. I won't do any homework. Let me know. Let me know what you find out on Adam Shank, and I'll be looking out for your tips. Okay, at 80 to 1, you have a couple other guys. Now here's a guy, kind of the same thing with Ben Martin. Now all of a sudden,
Mhm.
once a year. Okay, David Lingberth, yeah, it's once a year, but he's actually popped up on leaderboards a lot more than once a year
Oh
lately.
yeah, yeah. His irons are on fire. Lingmerth third in this field in strokes gain approach over the last 2 months, and he's had some huge pops. Like his two best finishes, 10th at Honda and 6th at Players. That was all strokes gain approach. He gained over 6 strokes on approach in both of those events. Now he's had those results despite the putter being pretty bad. He's lost strokes putting in 5 of his last 6. So you need the irons to stay hot, and then for him to have a decent putting week, and then you're kind of in business.
All right, and then also Brendan Wu at 80 to 1, and I was also
Yep.
taking a look at Wu. Why not? We had him on the list just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I bet him at Valspar his last time out, and that was a disaster. He missed the cut. It was mostly because of putting. He lost 2.5 strokes putting. Now, Wu has missed the cut. He's the type of guy I like to bet. He's missed the cut in 2 of his last 6 tourneys, but he's come second 14th, 19th
when he makes the
in
cut.
3 of the others. So he's super volatile.
Yeah.
Miss the cut, he's 80-1. That's fine. But when he has these spike weeks, you look at the stats. He'll have spike weeks on approach. He'll have spike weeks putting. So he can get hot in different departments. He's probably going to have to put both those together to win. But I think he's proven that he can, have those massive upside weeks.
All right. I've got 2 more picks to go. My guy's next, and I am throwing a couple of bucks on an oldie, but a goodie for me because I made some good money when he won the British Open some years back, not that long ago. Francesco Molinari at 90-1. He's been up and down lately, but this is a really good field. It's a weaker field for him. He's played it a couple of times, so this might be a good week for him because I don't know if he's in the Masters. It probably is because of that British Open win, I would think. Would that get him into the Masters, so, even though it was, 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
I think so, but I'm not. I can't say for sure.
I'm not sure either, but back to that.
14th at API for Molinari, gained off the tee and on approach there, and then last time out at the Players, he finished 60th, but the irons were awesome. He gained over 4 strokes on approach, which is his best iron performance in a long time, since 2021.
Wow. Okay.
So maybe he's found something again.
Okay. And then our super long shots. We have 1 left each, and is this the other European Tour dude you're talking about?
Al Lingmerth was my other European guy.
He's on the European Tour now.
Well, I just meant he's a European. He's a Swede. Yeah.
He probably should be on the European Tour.
Probably.
Okay, so how do you pronounce this guy's name?
This is Akshay Bhatia.
Bhatia.
Bhatia. He's an American, young guy, a guy who has flashed some on the PGA Tour. He's flashed especially on Corn Ferry. Akshay missed the cut on the number at Valspar his last PGA Tour start, but he sandwiched that with a second place in Puerto Rico on the Corn Ferry. Then he came 24th at Corrales last week. He's 15th in my model. He's an excellent ball striker. So I was actually surprised to see him at 110-1.
How old is he?
He's young. He's in his early 20s.
Well, he actually fits.
He's 21.
Well, he fits because he's 282nd in the world.
There you go.
So that's the exact kind of guy we want. Yeah, he won last year, so he's got the win.
Corn Ferry. Yep.
Corn Ferry, and like you said, coming the runner-up at Puerto Rico. What else?
And he's a lefty, and I'm a lefty, so I like him.
And he's got 2 top 10s this year on the Corn Ferry Tour, and 1 top 5. All right.
He shot I wasn't paying super close to. I wasn't paying super close attention to Corrales last week, but I think he shot a 29 on one of the front nines there. So he has that potential to go super low.
Okay. Yeah, that works right into our trend package there at over 250-1 in rankings. I mean, again, what is he?
288, I think
282. 282. And then my last pick is, I'm going right back to him. I took him a couple of weeks ago at Valspar. Didn't need him, turns out, because I got the win that week. But Kramer Hickok was one of my long shot picks. He was playing well until the weekend. He still ended up making the cut. He's made, I think, 5 straight. So maybe the experience, because that was the first time that he was up on the leaderboard in a while. So maybe that experience is what he needed, and now he's back out there again. So I'll put a couple of bucks on Kramer Hickok at 150-1. All right, everybody. I want to thank you for tuning in, especially if you've been with us as long as we have. Next week, it's the Masters. Can't get any better than that.
I can't wait.
And that is, the only thing is that, unfortunately, until the weekend, the coverage blows. Now, I don't know if there's a new deal with ESPN, if they're going to allow, if they're going to give us any sort of coverage on ESPN Plus.
I haven't seen that. I know the Masters app is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, the shot tracker is awesome. It's not live coverage, but you can see every shot like 30 seconds after it's hit. You can see video on the app. So definitely get that Masters app.
Yeah, I don't know if because it's been on ESPN, hasn't it?
Yeah, I don't.
If it's on
I think they.
ESPN, then maybe ESPN Plus will have some because.
I think they do. I think they do. I think they have the featured groups and the featured holes in
Okay,
the morning.
so that'll be good because other than
Yep.
that, if you don't have ESPN Plus and the only thing you're waiting because on Thursday and Friday you get like 3 or 4 hours at the most, and
Which is crazy.
that's pretty weak. But the weekends, they open it up, you get a lot more action. But and we'll talk about this next week. But keep this in mind. This is important. I don't even have to because we talked about this already. Where the winners come from.
Mm-hmm.
You do not want to be like past the second or maybe the third pairing on Sunday. If you are, it's over. You have no chance, or you have a 5% chance of winning.
All right, so we just got to figure out who the final two pairings are going to be, and then
it's easy, and then bet it across the board. All right, man. So what's going on with Draft Sharks? It's still quiet, or are you pumping out some of that fantasy information?
No, it's not quite. I'm in the part of the off season now where I go into a bunker for like 3 weeks and just do all of our projections for all 32 teams. So we'll have those initial projections out in like 2 weeks, and we keep those updated, every single day from that point until the start of the season. And we have a ton of rookie content coming out too that you can definitely check out. All the rookie content is free.
Awesome. Well, we will definitely be talking more about fantasy football and all that kind of stuff, especially the draft's going to be here before you know it. Speaking of bunker, I've got, 10:30 at night. I'm going to be up for the next 4 hours. I've got one more team to go for my draft guide reports, and it's the New York Jets, my team. I always save my team for last. So
tough to write them up without knowing the quarterback situation.
Yeah, well, I think everybody knows what's going to happen in there. So
hope so.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk next week. Masters, man. Can't wait.
1 week to go.
Good night, everybody.